It is the middle of the night, technically, and I have to do this kind of quietly, but we are going to talk about what I could read. I'm going to say it like that. What I could read for Women in Translation Month. All right, let's get into this pile of books I have. Hello, book friends. It's Alyssa. Welcome back to the channel. Hello, if you are new. I said in my most recent video, my June reading wrap up, that I don't think I'm doing Booker this year, at least not like I usually do. I will probably dabble in Booker, but I'm not going to go hard like I usually do. I haven't been paying too much attention to what could be on a Booker list, and I don't know if I have it in me, so I'm trying not to get too wrapped up in it, I guess, because I don't want to get wrapped up in the excitement and then end up feeling overwhelmed. But what I haven't been able to do for a few years now, because I've been wrapped up in Booker, is Women in Translation Month, because that's what August is. It is Women in Translation. So I went around my house and I picked up just a stack of books, a selection, a smattering, a smorgasbord, a pile, a large bucket of books that I could choose to read in August. I'm definitely not going to read all of these, so don't get excited. But let's go through them. And when I say I have a lot of books, I mean I have a lot of books. There's a lot here. Okay, we got stuff to go through. My goal with this video is to give you guys options to highlight some things in case you've never heard of them, maybe get you excited to read some things for Women in Translation. And yeah, that's kind of the point of this video. I'm a little bit out there today. We are sans makeup. I am in a heatless curl situation, and I technically have a colonoscopy probably the day before this video goes live, or the day of this video going live. I don't know. It depends on when I get this edited. So I opened a really nice bottle of wine a couple days ago, and we're a few days out from my colonoscopy for anybody who's cares. I don't know why I'm sharing all this on the internet. But anyway, it's a very nice bottle of wine. So I'm trying to finish as much of it as I can. So I'm having a glass of wine. We're going to go through these books. I do want to say that I spent a full day fighting with Final Cut Pro to be able to put out my June wrap up. And there's a few things I would have fixed if I had the energy left in me to fix them. So I'm hoping that whatever is wrong with my Final Cut has resolved itself, because I don't want to spend another day just fighting. And this is after I've edited it, just like trying to get it out of Final Cut and the way I want it to be and fully rendered. Sometimes making videos, it's the little technical difficulties that really just make or break your your mental wellness. Because yeah, I gave up. Okay. So if that's not the finest thing you've seen from me, I know it's not. I gave up. I couldn't fight it anymore. I wasn't going to spend a whole nother day letting it try to render and try to get it out. I switched from desktop to laptop. It was a very long Sunday. Okay. A very long Sunday trying to get that video just out of editing software and to you all. So hopefully I don't experience that doing this video editing. And I mean, I may go all the way back to just my iMovie days if it does, and we're going to have a really roughly edited video. Disclaimer's done. Let's get into some books. I accidentally stopped recording. I'm a mess today. Okay. Let's get it together. I have some slapdash summaries. That's what I was trying to say when I stopped recording myself. So I'm just going to pull them up on the side just in case. And otherwise, we're going to kind of just go off vibes and stuff. I don't remember what every single one of these books is about. I mean, I obviously knew when I got them, but they're all just sounded interesting. They're from a bunch of different countries. So yeah, enough stalling. Let's get into it right here. This I think I might really get to because I've had this for a while and I really want to read it. And that is The Body Kitsugi by, oh God, Seneca Marish, I think is how you say that. I put post-its on it to say where things are from. She's a Bosnian author, and this is about a woman whose husband leaves her. She also finds out she has breast cancer. And let's see, it says it's an intimate and optimistic book about a woman's relationship with her body as it breaks and is put back together. It sounded really quite lovely. And I feel like this is actually kind of autobiographical or like autofiction in some way. I may have made that up. That I may have made up. Anyway, but if you don't know, kitsuki is the Japanese art of repairing broken ceramics with liquid gold to highlight and celebrate an object's past. It's a powerful and personal novella. So yeah, I do think this has some sort of connection to the author's actual lived experience. And I just love I love it. I love the whole thing. I love it all. Very, very high on my list is this one. I talked about this in a Substack post. I did get this sent to me from the publisher, so thank you very much. I think this is Dead Skull. It's Catapult Books, and it's Soft Skull Press. And this is Aurora Venturini's We the Casertas, and she's an Argentine author, so it's translated from Spanish, and it's a gothic masterpiece about a gifted Argentine girl traveling the world in search of meaning and reckoning, and the relentless hardships faced by women in the 20th century. It's a compelling work. Again, they just keep telling me it's compelling. It sounded really interesting. It sounded really good. What's in the letter from the PR people? Nope. It just tells me I hope you enjoy this book. Sometimes they give me some extra copy to go through. But yeah, this sounded really interesting. I've never read from this author. I think she has a couple books. This might be her second book or third book. So I'm very curious to see how I get on with this one. Then I have Rien ne va plus, which is actually Greek, and it is by Margarita Carapano. And I guess I should have been saying the translators. This is translated by Karen Emmerich. We the Castratus. This is Kit Maud. And then this was translated by Celia Hawksworth. I'm very bad at remembering to do the translated. Anyway, I'm very bad at remembering to do the authors, let alone the translators. So every time I want to write love stories, but as soon as I pick up a pen, I'm overcome with horror. The story is simple. A woman and a man marry. Their marriage ends in cruelty, infidelity, and divorce. Ooh, I can't remember. I bought this at McNally's one day when I was shopping with Karen Reader. So this is supposed to be a provocative and experimental novel. Very curious. I do like to try some experimental stuff. I like a woman doing an existential crisis after discovering her husband's infidelity. Interesting. This all sounds really, really interesting. We're examining female sexuality, desire, power dynamics in relationships. It's set in Greece, so you know it's gonna be like a really beautiful setting. Very, very interested in this one. We're gonna head over to Italy. This is the only other Natalia Ginsburg's I have, and that is Valentino and Sagittarius by Natalia Ginsburg. In this beautiful NYRB edition. And I read The Dry Heart and really liked this. I really liked that. So I'm very curious to see about these. I think I pulled up summaries for each of these. Valentino, the story centers around a family's complicated dynamics and their collective obsession with Valentino, the only son amongst several daughters. Oh, that could be interesting, especially coming from Italy. Ooh, if you know about Italian moms and their sons. As an Italian American. Anyway, and then Sagittarius, it's supposed to be a nuanced novella. This follows the lives of a provincial Italian family in the years leading up to World War II and focuses particularly on the tensions between individual desires and familial obligations. Family war. Interesting. I think this will be interesting to read these two together. I don't know if I like it as much as the Dry Heart because I just really like the way the Dry Heart started. But I wonder if all of her books have such a gripping beginning, but we'll find out. I picked this up with Karen Reader and some other folks. This is The Voices of Adriana. This is by Elvira Navarro, and it is translated by Christina McSweeney. Sorry, I can't see because it's dark in here, except for like immediately in front of the lights. This was something, why we got this, I got this, is a bunch of us got this, but the reason I got it was because it's something about like she made an online dating profile for her father, and that just made me laugh. So Adriana becomes obsessed with her father's online dating. Recently widowed, he's on a self-destructive manic search for a partner to accompany him through the twilight years. At the same time, Adriana's life as an isolated grad student feels unreal, and to fill the void of her mother's death, she begins writing and trying on different voices. She builds worlds from the online profiles of her father's latest flings. That is until more fundamental voices, those of her mother and her grandmother, begin calling to her in the night. Oh, it sounds good. It just sounds really good. And this is, the author is from Spain, so it's translated from Spanish, and I just really very curious about this one. Also translated from the Spanish and is one of our reads for TBR Lowdown, our year-long reading book club thing we do. And this is Gioconda Belli's The Inhabited Woman. I've had this for a really long time. My mother outlaw gave this to me a long time ago, and Belli is a Nicaraguan author, and this is supposed to be like one of those pivotal novels of South American literature, I believe. I've always wanted to read it, but I've never gotten into it. I don't know why. Like, there's just things that sit on your shelves and you just don't pick them up for whatever reason, even though you really mean to. This is one of those, so I made sure that we picked it for TBR Lowdown so that I actually read it. It intertwines the stories of two women from different time periods who are connected through shared revolutionary spirit and feminist consciousness. I skimmed the foreword of this, and it does sound very interesting. It's talking a lot about like colonialism and America and the way America messes with South America and other countries in the global South. And I'm very curious to get into this, particularly after reading Moonbath, which we read and we'll be talking about soon on the podcast. I feel like there may be some connections between those two novels, actually, in like a weird kind of way. Next, from Catapult. Thank you, Catapult. I have Deep Breath by Rita Hallis. I really should look up people's names before I say them. And this is translated by Chris Herbert from Hungarian. Again, I know I talked about this on Substack, but I don't recall what it's about. It explores themes of trauma, healing, and self-discovery through the story's protagonist who finds herself at a crossroads after experiencing a personal crisis. It sounds like every book. It's a startlingly honest novel about a woman facing life-altering questions of whether her marriage is abusive and whether to end it. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yes. I really do want to read this. This sounds really, really good. She's just left her marital home with her two young daughters to live with her father after her husband's violent outbursts reach a breaking point. She's experiencing sudden losses of consciousness, spells of insomnia, and difficulty eating. Over the course of the year that follows, she reignites a high school romance, looks to her divorced parents for guidance, and attempts couples therapy, struggles to be a good mother, develops a brief cocaine dependency, and tries to rekindle her artistic practice. Oh, I love a woman going through a divorce. I love it's I mean, it's relatable for me. Yeah, very curious to read this one. I would call this like a mid-century gem, if you will. And this is Bonjour Tristesse by Francois Sagan. And everybody talks about this online. This is one of those books everybody knows. I think there's a movie coming out as well, or is out now. There's a new adaptation of this. My hair is really wacky. I can't believe I'm filming a video like this. But anyway, this is like one of those books that like everybody knows, but I've had it on my shelves for a little bit and I would really like to read it. This one I will probably get to. It's quite short, so. And so this is translated from French, and it portrays adolescent sexuality quite frankly, and it's an exploration of, I guess, post-war France and what it was like to grow up then. Yeah, I feel like it's like one of those books everybody kind of has to read, and so yeah, might as well read it in Women in Translation. A Charco Press sent me this not too long ago, and I haven't gotten to it yet. This is another Argentine author, and this is Selva Almada's Not a River, translated by Andy McDermott. I meant to read this a little while ago, and I didn't. And I really liked, was it Brick Makers? I really liked that, minus the death of the galgo. I didn't enjoy that. But so this is 3 men go out fishing, returning to a favorite spot on the river despite their memories of a terrible accident there years earlier. As a long, sultry day passes, they drink and cook and talk and dance and try to overcome the ghosts of their pasts. But they are outsiders, and this intimate, peculiar moment also puts them at odds with the inhabitants of their watery universe, both human and otherwise. The forest presses close, and violence seems inevitable. But can another tragedy be avoided? Ooh, I love it. There's like a darkness to her writing, and I kind of dig it. I kind of like it. There's always this like looming dread. So very curious about this one. We're going to go to Mexico now. And this is Cristina Rivera Garza's Liliana's Invincible Summer, a sister's search for justice. This I think won her the Pulitzer Prize. It definitely won her a Pulitzer Prize. And this is about her sister's death. And I think her trying to get to the bottom of that. And I'm wondering if it's more straightforward than some of the other things I've read from her, because she can be quite a challenging author to read, but I also do kind of like those challenging authors. Like Liz Spector always comes to mind when I think about challenging authors. I interestingly don't have any Liz Spector on this list. I have plenty that I could add, but I didn't put it on here because I thought it was everyone's going to tell you to read some Clarice Lispector. But I'm very curious to read this because I know this is kind of what she's probably best known for, and I haven't read it yet. I've had Sayaka Murata's Life Ceremony, her collection of stories, for quite a while on my shelf now. I also have Earthlings somewhere, I think, and I haven't read that yet, but I couldn't. It's probably in a pile, and I just couldn't. It's not that I couldn't find it. I didn't look for it. Let's be honest. I didn't look for it. This was on the shelves, and yeah. So I'm expecting more just like bizarre stories that explore social conventions and weird women and things like that. So if you've read this one, I'd love to know your thoughts on this one. I will probably get to this one for sure because it's been sitting here collecting dust for a little bit, and I'm very curious to see if I like it. I'll see if I like her short stories. Sometimes I don't like short stories. I found this while I was thrifting with Naomi probably last year. And this is Hiromi Kawakami's The Nakano Thrift Shop. And I think this is the author of it's like It's Always Raining in Tokyo or something like that. What's the other book that she wrote? Strange Weather in Tokyo. It's always raining in Tokyo. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know what this is about. This just looked cute, and so I picked it up. It looked like it would be heartwarming, and that's why I picked it up. I could be very wrong. A charming and understated novel that offers a window into the lives of 4 individuals connected through their work at a second-hand shop in suburban Tokyo. Okay, yep, sounds cute. Sounds what I need after maybe reading like something weird or something hard or something dark. I don't think I continued on with any of the translators. Is this actually not translated? Hold on. Cristina Rivera Garza can like sneak up on me because I think she also writes in English. The Nakano thrift shop should be a touching little story, I hope. I have 3 more left. Disoriental by Negar Devadi. Nejar Devaji. She's an Iranian French author. Her family moved to France. So this is translated from French, and this is actually translated by the really quite wonderful Tina Cover, who we interviewed on the podcast. And it's a lovely interview, and she's really quite a lovely human being. And we learned a lot about translation. I'm like really in a weird spot here. We learned a lot about translation in that interview and how it works. And I found this while I was thrifting and saw her name, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember her mentioning this. So this is the sweeping saga of 20th century Iran and an intimate story of a young woman's determination to create a future on her own terms. Disoriental is the author's timely, passionate, and entertaining debut novel. It may even be like a little bit autobiographical, or at least inspired by her own family life, because it looks like it's following a young girl who flees Iran with her mother and sisters for France. I believe I remember Tina Cover talking about how this was really quite good, and she was encouraging us to read it. Another French, or from the French, novel, and this is The Book of Mother by Violaine Huisman, and this is translated by Leslie Kami. And I think this was like on some lists the year it came out, and I just never got to it. I've had it on my shelves for a while since it came out. I think the publisher sent this to me. It's a debut novel about a young woman's coming of age with a dazzling yet damaged mother who lived and loved in extremes. I love a mother-daughter story. I love a messy mother-daughter story. I love a crazy mom story. So I'm hoping to get that here. I'm hoping that I really like this. I'm just hoping this is good because it's short. I will definitely get to it. A lot of the really skinny ones I will probably bang out pretty quickly, but there are some chunky ones. And speaking of chunky ones, I made a list of 4 really chunky books to read each quarter this year, and we're doing really well with those. And so we're on our Q3 read, and it's the perfect book for women in translation because it's Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. And I did dip into this a little bit just to get my feet into it and see how I get on with it, because I'm a little bit scared of like a full-length novel from her, because I've only read her short stories, and I do like her short stories, and it's rare for me to like short stories. So I was very hesitant about this, but I really liked it. I had to stop myself and put it down and be like, you're gonna read this a little later. I also have a lot of books going on at the same time, but it was moving. I was in it to win it with this one. So I will probably steam through this in August, really into this one. So this is kind of like I want to call it a vampire novel, but I don't really know. So it's a sprawling, ambitious horror novel that blends supernatural with like Argentine's political history, and it's multi-generational. There's magic and definitely like some weird stuff happening in the Argentina in this book, and you can tell that it definitely is mirroring the military dictatorship of the 70s and 80s, and I think you're going to get like a lot of exploration of the dirty war through this supernatural horror lens, and I'm very into this. I'm very into getting into this book more in depth once August rolls around. So yeah, I think that's everything I had. If you are going to be participating in Women in Translation Month, I'd love to know what is on your list, what is in your like, maybe I'll read this if I can get to it. What are we calling this? Our Women in Translation potentials, possibilities. I don't want to call it TBR because I'm not going to read all these things. They're just like the pool of books that I'm going to go to. It's like my Women in Translation bookshelf. And of course, if you're looking for any other recommendations, you can always head over to my TBR Lowdown website and see what was in our reading challenges, our book club picks for the previous years. Because there's a lot of really great books on there. And I think on my bookshop.org, I have a shop just for women in translation as well that I've been slowly building out. Anyway, I think I've rambled on enough about this. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and, pray that editing works for this video. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video, whatever it may be, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. Bye.